Calc Ayers, here we go. Exam review. Let's get her done. Unit 1. Find the inverse. That means, whoopsie, nice start. Find the inverse. There we go. So what do? Well, the first thing you do is you realize that's y, and you replace it with x. You replace that with y, and then you solve for y. Subtract 5, subtract 5. I'm going to flip this thing around. 3y squared equals x minus 5. Different ways to go about this. I'm going to go ahead and divide by 3, divide by 3. So y squared equals x minus 5 all over 3. Now, I do need to say that this, I could have multiplied this by 1/3. It would look a little different. Y squared equals 1/3 x minus 5/3. And then take the square root of both sides. But I think this one looks a little neater, so I'll stick with this one. Bada boom, bada bing, do the right thing. So I get y equals plus or minus the square root of x minus 5 all over 3. And I don't think they're going to worry about the square root in the denominator on these types of problems, but I would be amiss if I didn't replace that with the symbol that says at one time we replaced x's with y's. That's basically what this means. Alright, there you go. Number 1. Number 2. Inverse. Once again, g of x just represents y. First thing we're going to do is switch it out. So x equals y minus 4 all over 2y plus 1. This gets a little trickier. I got to remember my next step is to solve for y. So I got to get rid of that denominator. But I got to multiply this side by 2y plus 1. I'm going to distribute, so I get 2xy. Notice I put it in alphabetical order. Plus x equals y minus 4. Don't forget your goal. Your goal is to solve for y. A lot of students struggled with this when we went through it. So that means you got to isolate your y's. So I'm going to subtract y over here, subtract y over here, get rid of x here, get rid of x here. Watch this. Are these like terms? No. So 2xy minus y equal, what's left over here? Negative x minus 4. Now, we're trying to solve for y, so I'm going to factor a y out. 2x minus 1 equals negative x minus 4, so I'm going to divide by 2x minus 1. Those will cancel. Divide by 2x minus 1. I see that y equals this stuff, so I'm going to replace the y with what the symbol says. We found the inverse. And we're done. Alright, next problem, more of the same. Replace that with y. So I get y equals x over 2x minus 3. Then I replace the x's and the y's. X equals y all over 2y minus 3. Multiply by 2y minus 3. Multiply this side by 2y minus 3. And I'm left with distribute, 2xy minus 3x. This looks a lot like the last problem. Equals y. So again, we're trying to solve for y. So I'm gonna subtract y over here, subtract y. I'm gonna add 3x, add 3x. Show my work over here. 2xy minus y equals 3x. Take a y out because we're trying to solve for it. Divide by 2x minus 1. Gone. Divide by 2x minus 1. Don't forget to replace that with the symbol that represents, you found the inverse. So 3x all over 2x minus 1. Okay. And let's go on to the next problem here, number 2. So f of x equals this, g of x this, h of x this. Find g of h of negative 2, which means we start inside. So we find h, we put negative 2 in for x. So that would give us 2 times negative 2 minus 4, absolute values. That's negative 4 minus 4 equals the absolute value of negative 8. Remember PEMDAS, clean this up first. Then we take the absolute value of negative 8 is 8. So this problem just turned into g of 8. So it looks like it's going to be a little work. So now we got to plug this in here and here because that's where g is to be found. So 8 squared is 64. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16 plus 1. So it's really 65 minus 16, which is, let's take a shot at 49. All right, this one, kind of weird. F of x minus 2, which means we find f. There it is. We got to plug x minus 2 wherever x shows up. So there it is. So it's 2 times x minus 2 plus 5. Distribute the 2. And now add like terms. 2x plus 1. There's your answer. Now, this says take whatever f of x is and put it in there. So that's g of 2x plus 5. That's what this just turned into. So we got to put all of this into every x found in the function defined by g. That's a lot of words just to say put 2x plus 5 there and there. So we get 2x plus 5 squared minus 2 times 2x plus 5 plus 1. Biggest mistake is to square that and feel like you're doing it right. No way. 2x plus 5, 2x plus 5. Now we're doing it right. We're squaring the binomial. Now it turns into FOIL. So that's 4x squared. I'm going to go outside, inside. That's 10x and 10x is 20x. And then we square 5 times 5 is 25. Distribute. Don't forget that negative 2 hits this and this, so negative 10 plus 1. Now you just got to add like terms without screwing up. 4x squared, gone. 20x minus 4x, 16x. 25 minus 10 is 15 plus 1 is 16. Now, some of you might panic and factor a 4 out of there. I do not think that's the goal, but you wouldn't be wrong looking for that if that was a multiple choice situation and they had both of them listed, but I'm pretty sure this is all they want. But be on your lookout. Okay, good old piecewise function review. I'm going to try to make this quick, but it's just not a quick problem. It says graph the function f of x. Well, f of x is this and this. So, just to try to kind of stay organized, I'm going to focus on this in orange, and I'll focus on this in yellow. So, here we go. This says y equals 3x plus 4, and I'll make a little chart. I can see that's a linear function, a line, so I only need 2 points, and this is going to help me kind of lock in. X is less than or equal to negative 4, so I like to give myself a little hint there, filled in dot at negative 4. Plug that in, that'd be negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8. With a filled in dot. It's so important in this stuff. What's another number less than negative 4? Let's get crazy. I'm going to go negative 5. So that's negative 15 plus 4 is negative 11. So I'm going to take those 2 points, negative 4, negative 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fill that in. That's significant. And then negative 5, negative 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know this is 8, 9, 10, 11. And this goes on forever. So don't forget the little arrow because x can be less than or equal to negative 4. So it goes on forever. I just picked 2 because I know it's a line. So this right here is my orange graph. Now we're going to focus on this other one. Y equals x squared minus 8. Let's really concentrate on this. X is greater than negative 4. So if I got to start there. Now don't start with -5 because, or -3 here. A lot of students do that. This is telling you where to start. That's like the threshold, but it's going to be an open circle. So put -4 in, that'd be 16 minus 8 is 8. Now what's another number greater than -4? Now you could do -3. But there's a little twist coming up, and I'm going to explain that here. -3 squared is 9, 9 minus 8 is 1. Now remember, this is a line. So all we needed was 2 points, and we're good to go. You can tell that this is a parabola. Now I'm going to go ahead and cheat a little bit on my basic knowledge of parabolas. I know this is a y-intercept. So if x is 0, y-intercept is -8. I'm going to steal that point. 0, -8, I know that's going to have something to do with that. -4, 8 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's an open circle. That's as far left as we go with this domain. So now -3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1 is right there. And I can kind of see that it's going to go down here. And I mean, you could plug in another one in the positive, like 1. 1 squared is 1, minus 7 is -7. So 1, -7 is there, but you can kind of see where this is going to go, and it's going to go like this forever. Now you could get more precise with these points, like plugging in 2, 3, 4, but we get the idea. So there's our parabola from here all the way to here, and you got to look for this vertex on these problems when you're discovering the graph of the piecewise function. It happens to be a parabola. You might need more than 3 or 4 points to really get a good picture of what it looks like. So now we can answer a whole bunch of questions. We graphed letter A. Is it continuous? No. Why? You can tell there's a break in the two graphs. Find f of 5, a little trickeration there. Where does this even fit? Well, it definitely is not less than or equal to -4, so it's not going to be plugged in here, it's going to be plugged in here. So we're going to plug that into this guy. So 5 squared is 25 minus 8, which that would be 17. We can kind of look at our drawing, see if we're even close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should be up to 17, should be way up here. So it means this is probably narrower. Fix your graph a little bit if you want. So now find f of -4. Well, that's the threshold number, but this one says x is less than or equal to -4, so that's where this one's going to go. So that'd be -12 plus 4 is -8. And we already found that point. All right, so let's go on to number 4. I'm going to try to keep these in 15-minute videos. YouTube processes things a lot better that way. So here we go. Simplify. Well, this is already simplified, so we're going to throw that off to the side. Now we got the cubic root of 24. I'm going to do these in bite-sized pieces, so that's 8 and 3. Now that 5, the way I explained it in class, what's the first number less than 5 that 3 goes into? 3. How many would be left? 2. This is just perfect. 6 divided by 3 is 2, so that would be b squared. So I was picturing this as b, b to the 6th, that's the power, over the index, and that reduces to b squared. That's a perfect cubic root. Then 16 is not divisible by 3, so 15 is, so I'm going to chop off 15 of those bad boys. I'm left with 1. Well, that is going to reduce, that is going to reduce, and that is going to reduce. So let's stack them over here. Cubic root of 8 is 2. 3 divided by 3 is 1. I'll put a 1 there just for organizational purposes. And then 15 divided by 3 is 5. Whoa, where'd the b come from? B squared, yeah, I almost blew it. So b squared sitting right there. And then I get c to the 5th. So I'm done with that, done with that, done with that, done with that. And then I got a whole bunch of stuff. 3a squared c. Now if I can clean this up, we should be good to go. So 3 times 2 is 6. A squared times a is a cubed. B times b squared is b cubed. And then c to the 5th is just sitting right there, times the cubic root of 3a squared c. So that was a stinker. Hopefully I didn't make a silly mistake. Reach out to me if you notice that I did. But that ends video number 1.